Dear students and viewers, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to online class of Kishorganj Government Boys High School. This is Mohammad Abul Kasham, Assistant Teacher English. Today I am going to continue my topic, transformation of sentences according to structure, part 3, for the students of class 10. In my previous classes, I have discussed 16 rules of transformation of sentences according to structure in my two lectures, part 1 and part 2. Today I am going to discuss 5 rules of it. So look at the 17th rule. Subject, verb, as if, as though, subject, where, or an, adjective, noun. So look at the subordinating conjunction, as if or as though. So it is a complex sentence as it contains subordinating conjunction as if or as though. So if a complex sentence contains as if or as though, how can we transform it into a simple sentence? So look at the structure of simple sentence. So if you want to make it a simple sentence, students are advised to follow the structure: subject, verb, like, or an, adjective or adverb. That is, if you want to make it a simple sentence, you have to use the independent clause first, the first portion of the sentence first, main clause, subject verb, then you have to use like, then you have to use or an, adjective and noun. Then it will be a simple sentence. If you want to make it a compound sentence, look at the structure. First you have to use the independent clause, subject verb, then you have to use a coordinating conjunction and, then you have to use everybody considers, then you have to use objective form of subject, then you have to use or an, adjective and noun. So follow the example. Complex sentence: he speaks as if he were a madman. Simple will be he speaks like a madman. Compound will be he speaks and everybody considers him a madman. So look at the complex sentence. He speaks as if he were a madman. If you want to make it a simple, just follow the structure. He speaks is an independent clause. That is, you have to use the first clause, main clause of the sentence first, then you have to use like, then or an, adjective, noun. Here man is a noun, mad is an adjective, an adjective. If you want to make it a compound sentence, follow the structure. First you have to use the independent clause, he speaks, then you have to use a coordinating conjunction and, then you have to use everybody considers, you have to use the objective form of subject. Here subject is he, so objective form of he is him, then you have to use a or an, adjective and noun. Now look at the 18th rule. Subject on verb as adjective or adverb as subject to. So look at the sentence. It is a complex sentence that as it contains as, adjective as. So if you want to make it a simple sentence, just follow the structure. You have to use the subject one verb, that is you have to use the main clause, independent clause first, then you have to use adjective or adverb, then you have to use like, then subject to. If you want to make it a compound sentence, follow the structure. You have to use the main clause, that is independent clause first, then you have to use adjective or adverb, then you have to use an coordinating conjunction, so auxiliary verb, subject to. Here auxiliary verb will depend the verb of main clause. Will depend the verb of main clause. So follow the example. Complex sentence. He is as clever as you. If you want to make it a simple sentence, just follow the structure. You have to use the subject verb first, subject verb, then you have to use adjective or adverb, then like, then the subject to. Here you is subject to, he is subject one. If you want to make it a compound sentence, you have to follow the structure like this way. He is clever and so are you. So first we have to use subject verb, then you have to use adjective and coordinating conjunction, so are you. Here are is an auxiliary verb, it depends on the verb of main clause. Here is the verb of main clause, so he follows is, but you follows are, that's why here are is used as auxiliary verb. So students are advised to follow the structure properly, carefully, attentively. Now 19th rule. If a complex sentence contains no sooner, how can we make it a simple one? So follow the structure of simple sentence. If a complex sentence contains no sooner, we have to begin simple sentence with just after, then we have to use possessive form of subject, then you have to use ing form of verb 1, then you have to use and rest of the sentence, then you have to use the second clause, that is the main clause. Here second clause. So compound will be, you have to use the subject on verb, that is first portion of the sentence, first part, first clause, and subject verb 1 and rest of the sentence, and you have to use coordinating conjunction and then you have to use subject verb 2 and rest of the sentence, and at the end of the sentence you have to add moments later to make it a sense, that is to fulfill the meaning of the sentence. So follow the example. Complex. No sooner had I caught it then it fell down. So if you want to make it a simple sentence, just follow the structure. Just after a possessive form of subject. Here subject is I, So possessive form of I is mine, and ing form of caught is catching, and rest of the sentence. And you have to use comma and the second clause. If you want to make it a compound sentence, first you have to omit no sooner, then you have to use I had caught it, caught it. That is the first clause. You have to use the first clause here, without no sooner. Then you have to use a coordinating conjunction and then the second clause. And at the end of the second clause, we have to use moments later. So complex sentence: no sooner had I caught it than it fell down. Simple will be just after my catching it, it fell down. Compound will be I had caught it and it fell down moments later. Now look at the 20th rule. If a complex sentence begins with as soon as, simple will be just after. The simple sentence will be begun with just after, possessive form of subject, ing form of verb, and rest of the sentence, comma, and you have to use the second clause and second clause. If you want to make it a compound sentence, you have to follow the structure: subject 1, verb 1, and subject verb 2, and at the end of the sentence you have to use immediately. At the end of the compound sentence you have to use immediately. So follow the example. As soon as he saw his father, he ran away. Simple: just after he seeing his father, he ran away. Compound: he saw his father and he ran away immediately. So look at the complex sentence. It contains as soon as. So the simple will be begun with just after, possessive form of subject. Here subject is he, possessive form is his. Verb is saw, so ing form of saw is seeing, and rest of the sentence, comma, and the second clause. If you want to make it a compound sentence, you have to omit as soon as, then you have to use the dependent clause. Dependent clause: he saw his father is a dependent clause, and you have to use coordinating conjunction and then the independent clause, and at the end of the independent clause you have to use immediately. Now the 21st rule: as subject verb 1, rest of the sentence, so subject verb 2, rest of the sentence. So if a complex sentence contains as so, simple will be subject verb 2. Here subject verb 2 is an independent clause, so first we have to use the independent clause, subject verb 2 and rest of the sentence. Then we have to use according to, then possessive form of subject, possessive form of subject, and ing form of verb 1, ing form of verb 1. If you want to make it a compound sentence, you have to follow this structure. Subject verb 1, that is you have to use the dependent clause first, then and therefore, then you have to use subject verb 2 and rest of the sentence. Here therefore refers to consequently. Therefore means consequently. For example, follow the example. Complex sentence: as you saw, so you reap. Simple will be you reap according to your sowing. Compound will be you saw, and therefore you reap. So if a complex sentence contains as so, simple will be you have to use the second clause. Second clause is here the main clause, independent clause, you read. Then you have to use according to and possessive form of subject and ing form of verb 1. If you want to make it a compound sentence, you have to form it as so, and two clauses, you saw, you read, will be joined by a coordinating conjunction and will follow therefore. Then it will be a compound sentence. So I will give you a homework today for following the 5 rules. Students are told to follow the 5 rules and submit their homework in my email address. So first, watch your homework, see the homework, you read and therefore you learn. Just after my catching the fish, I let it go. No sooner did he see the police than he hid behind the curtain. He is meritorious and so is she. The moon shines and everybody considers it the sun of night. 6. Jamal is as honest as his father. 7. As soon as he reached school, the bell rang. 8. As you earn, so you spend. He speaks as though he were an Englishman. 10. I had picked a ripe mango and my son ate it. Mom stated. So look at these sentences. First sentences is you read and therefore you learn. It is a compound sentence, so you have to make it a simple and complex. Second sentence is just after my catching the fish, I let it go. It is a simple sentence, so you have to transform it into complex and compound sentence. Like this, you have to transform the other sentences. Now, at the end of the class, students are advised to send their homework to my email address. So look at the email address, kashim.ish@gmail.com. And if you want to look for the solution, you have to go to my Google Classroom. The class code for class 10 is KLDICYR, or letters are here, small letters. And if you want to go to Google Classroom, just follow the instruction in the next slide. How can you go to my Google Classroom? You have to follow the instructions. First, you have to log into your Google Gmail account. That is, you must have an email account in Gmail with Gmail. You have to click on 9 dots shown in the picture. Then you have to click on Classroom app, Google Classroom app. Then you have to click on plus sign shown in the picture. Then you have to click on join class. The plus sign will be right corner of the page side. Then you have to click on join class. Then you have to write the given code for the class 10 students of class 10. Write the class code in the box. A box will appear in front of you and you have to write down the class code if you want to join with me in my Google Classroom. Last of all, you have to click on join. Join will be in the right corner of the page. By using the class code and following the instructions, you can join with my Google Classroom, and you can look for the solution of your homework. So thanks for watching the class. My next topic will be transformation of sentences according to structure, part 4. Students are advised to follow the rules, structure, examples in my lecture 1, lecture 2, lecture 3, and uh, students are told to wait for my lecture 4 the next week. So stay home, stay safe, don't roam without any reason. Thank you.